Welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is setting intentions. So it's the end of the year, the eve of a new year. And it's a wonderful time to be looking at what we want to call in to our lives. And I think it's a pretty interesting, exciting topic. So I hope you'll enjoy it. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light, lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together. Feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure. And as you stop, all the tickling and tingling, and allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables you to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to be here with you. And welcome, Rosalind. Good morning, good morning. And welcome to everybody else who's joining us. So resolutions are something that are typical for this time of year. And resolutions in my book are kind of wishful thinking in a way, which is interesting because we're going to be talking about intentions. But resolutions are about stuff generally more than they are about being. They're about doing stuff. The typical things are losing weight or meditating daily or going to the gym or things that are very mundane typically are the things that we make resolutions about. And they're usually intended in a corrective way. So in some way they feel punitive because they're based on something being wrong that needs fixing. And so instead of that mentality of something wrong that needs fixing, what I'd like to talk to you about is setting intentions and having these intentions be something that is what we're going to call beyond ableness, meaning something that doesn't currently exist in its fullest form for you. And this is around being, actually, not about like, I'm going to make X amount of money this year, kind of intention. Although what you could be intending is abundance. And that would be an experience of abundance that would go into all different dimensions of expression. So when we talk about intentions, what I invite you to make these intentions meaningful and to create some magic. When we set an intention of something that we want to hold as a theme for ourselves. So I was talking about this with my coaching group yesterday, and what I suggested, and this was this was not an idea that I invented. It was someone shared with me the idea of choosing. Actually, I think you suggested this yesterday. Good morning, Jenny. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think that I'm not sure who it was who was here yesterday who suggested selecting a word for the year. And I thought about that a lot, and it's such a brilliant idea because it gives us the ability to have sort of a focused theme of what we're calling ourselves to rise to and what we're calling forth. And it's not necessarily something we know how to do. So for me, joy has never really been part of my vocabulary. For years, I just really thought it was frivolous. And I have come to a different understanding around that. And what I became aware of was that it just hasn't really existed in my life. And when I became aware of it was when I had a moment of just plain happiness and joy. And it wasn't provoked by anything, which is the weird thing. It just came out of nowhere. And it was a moment, and it was so different from my other experience that I couldn't help but notice it. And I was sort of taken aback by it. So what I chose for my word for this year is joy. And if I allow that idea of joy to penetrate everything that I'm thinking about, then it brings me into a level of presence and playfulness and happiness and receiving that I might not otherwise be present to if I weren't aligned with this notion of joy. And I suggest that perhaps you might want to, when you choose your word, actually make a banner of it that you can put somewhere where you can see it. So Jenny, good morning, good morning. And Jenny says, yesterday I was thinking of the word trajectory. That's interesting. That's interesting. Trajectory is like, what is the path? And I'm wondering, what does that invoke for you? What I noticed when I came up with this word joy was that I just started smiling, and I started thinking about the things that I am manifesting this year, the intentions that I have for the year. Like I'm finally getting to go to learn about making aircrete dome homes, and I expect that there will be some progress related to Mexico, and just finding my joy, finding whatever it is in my heart that in expressing itself expresses and experiences this lovely feeling of joy. And it is calling me to a place that I'm not familiar with. And so I invite you to choose a word that you haven't, like something that you have an inkling about, but you want to deepen your experience of it. So another person in my group came up with the word investment, which was such a wonderful, wonderful word for them for a whole bunch of reasons, because they had been coming from a place of scarcity. And the word investment assumes that there is already abundance, that you can invest into something. And there's investment of money, of course, but there's also investment of time, there's investment of energy, and being alert to how we're directing all of our resources. That's part of investment, and thinking into and feeling into what we're creating. So I thought that was such a lovely, lovely word for this person particularly. And Rosalind is saying alignment. I'm allowing things to flow into and out of my life, or express. I express myself fully and blossom into greater impact. They're both beautiful, beautiful words. And I invite you to check in and see, like, where is this something that you can grow yourself into, that calls you beyond your current level of ableness into a new dimension of expression and being. And Jenny says, I never thought of life trajectory before. Well, Jenny, that's a breakthrough. Congratulations. That's awesome. And to be looking at, where your current state is, like, what is the direction that your current state is moving you toward, and to be able to design or adjust whatever the current state is to be able to meet a trajectory that feels good to you, that feels in alignment with your intentions for yourself and your life. So I love that. To be thinking about life trajectory is to be thinking bigger picture rather than in this isolated moment. And I think there's tremendous richness to be looking at that, and looking at, for instance, what is the impact that we have in the world, and that we that our individual expression can enrich the world with. So good for you. I mean, I think we want to find a word that has a bit of an edge to it. And Jenny says, I'm starting a treatment program next week. Good for you, Jenny. Good for you. Congratulations. That's awesome. And I wish you great success. What a wonderful way to start the new year. Hopefully that is a hopeful sort of undertaking. And I'm sure we send you lots and lots of love and energy collectively. I know that I do. And so intention, intention could be grace. Intention could be ease if we're going through tons of challenges. There are so many beautiful, inspirational words depending on our personal circumstances. And I invite you to really engage with your word and make it a part of your daily awareness. So one of the ways we can do that is by creating a banner. You could create a screensaver if you spend a lot of time on your computer, or a background on your phone that has the word there for you, so that it is it's a subliminal reminder, because after a point you may not be conscious of seeing it, but it's still embedding itself in you. So Jenny says, my intentions are to find myself and work of healing myself. So Jenny, maybe vibrance, or vitality, or health, or healthfulness, or something that is seeing you healthy. Maybe the word healthy, or something that incorporates your health. Boy, the words, my tongue is getting all twisted, but something that incorporates this notion of being healed. Resonance, Rosalind says. I love that. Resonance is awesome. When we seek resonance, when we allow for resonance. Jenny says peace and self-love. I love it. I love it. So maybe I think self-love, Jenny, would be such a wonderful thing. You know, self-acceptance, self-love, wholeness. So these are things we don't need to know how it's going to happen, because we're just being present to creating the intention. The intention is, I don't know how it's going to happen, but that's my intention. And I'm putting it out into the universe, and I'm presencing myself to that as an intention. And then magic can happen, and in ways that are completely unanticipated. Wholeness is a good idea. I think, because wholeness encompasses so much of it, right? It encompasses all of it. It encompasses self-love. It encompasses a sense of integration, integrity, peace, alignment, all of those things. Whatever word you choose, it might not be a bad idea to write out a description of it and what it means to you and what it encompasses, so that it becomes a shorthand for this greater intention. And so when we set words yesterday, we also set an intention for the year that calls us to a higher expression or a fuller expression of being. And so what's different from, in this practice, from the notion of resolutions is that, and they don't have to be, but resolutions are often material. And the material is 100% important. There's no question about that. Nobody's debating that. And if we generate the material results from a space of being, it can be effortless. You know, if we generate the doing in our lives from a place of being and intention, then the actions become inspired. You know, we're inspired to call this person at this time out of the blue, and who knows, there's some wild connection. Or we're inspired to go to a place that we don't normally go, and then we meet somebody that we knew 20 years ago, and it's a important connection. Or, you know, all kinds of things like that happen as we open ourselves more to intention and intuition and presence. So I'm just thinking of other words. One person's word was trust, and it was trust for themselves, to be able to trust themselves, to make good choices in life. And interestingly, their intention was to play more. And so in allowing yourself to play, particularly if you're a workaholic, allowing yourself to play is kind of affirming a trust in the universe that you're going to be cared for, right? So these things connect with each other. And so good morning, Bernadette. Great to have you here with us this morning. We are talking about setting intentions and potentially choosing a word and an intention for the coming year that calls you into a fuller expression of your being, of your essential self. Bernadette says, good morning. I'm sorry, Jenny says, I'm hoping to find a drum circle to join on New Year's Eve. Jenny, that sounds like such a powerful way to bring in the new year. I love that idea. It didn't even occur to me. I think that's brilliant. Wow, that's a great way to bring in the new year. 100%. Yeah, let's see. Bernadette says, that was my word for this year, actually. Perfect word. So I'm sorry, Bernadette, it was trust. Is that the word that was your word for this year? Because trust is a really powerful thing. When we trust ourselves, when we trust the universe, then we can relax. Bernadette says intention. Okay, cool. So being guided by intention, that's a beautiful, an intention to be guided by intention. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So that brings us into a state of presence, a state of mindfulness, to be intentional about things means that we need to be there for it, right? I think that this is a really creative exercise, really powerful to bring us into a deeper connection with ourselves. And that's my belief. And again, working hypothesis, but my belief is that we each came here with our unique expressions, to be an expression of life that is unique. We are each unique. And that by becoming more completely ourselves, we become a fuller expression of our purpose. So Jenny says, intentional wholeness. I love it. I love it. Why not bring that mindfulness into wholeness, so that you keep an awareness of it, so that you're present to the evolution and the blossoming of that. Bernadette says last year was clarification. Ooh, juicy words. I love it. Good morning, Lisa. Welcome. So good to have you here. Happy almost New Year. We are talking today about intentions rather than resolution, and intentions of being that call us into greater expression of our essential self, the essence of ourselves. And it's interesting to me, that I shared with you that I chose joy because it's not been something that's present to me. And this experience, this spark of joyfulness that I felt, it resonated so deeply in my soul that I recognized that it is part of my essential being that maybe has been subdued or subverted or just submerged for all these years. And to find the true experience of it rather than the thought of it. I mean, I can be very enthusiastic about things and excited about things, and I have a lot of different high level emotions and energy, but joy hasn't been one that has been present, really. And Lisa says the first word that came to mind was happiness. Well, that's a biggie. It's like, okay, what does that look like? And you don't have to figure it out, but you have a notion of it and intending it, even if you don't know how it's going to come. Something that causes you to rise into your fuller expression. So Bernadette says, what would everyone's word for this coming year if you pick one? Oh, so Bernadette, I'm not sure. Are you asking people what their word is for this year? Or are you asking what would we all choose? Rosalind's asking for the collective. Jenny says connection. Oh, okay. Connection. Lisa says gratitude. For the collective, Rosalind, I love the idea of connection, because we have been so disconnected from ourselves, from each other, from our planet, and to be connected, that would be pretty remarkable. Lisa says gratitude. And Bernadette says, if you could pick a word for the next year, what would it be? For me, it's I at the moment, it's joy. Because that's what I want to invoke for myself. Not want to, but that's my intention, is to expand the part of me that knows how to experience that, and to bring that into life, because I think it's life affirming, and I think it's catching. Anyway, I just noticed the time. I've got to run. So with deep love and appreciation, I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. Jenny says, I choose connection. Oh, I love it. I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network, EWN One with the Earth, Enlightened World Living. And please join us tomorrow for deeper clarification around setting intentions for the unfoldment of a magnificent new year. Until next time, so much love.